Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, the Raven, here, bringing you some Cuphead action. I got this as a Christmas gift. It's really awesome. I've been wanting this game for years. It's definitely lived up to the hype. When I first saw it, I saw that, as just about everyone has the same story. They saw the graphics. It reminded them of childhood cartoons or older cartoons, that nostalgia factor that I mean, not even just nostalgia. For me, it's just like, hey, like, this is cool, remember this, it's not like, oh yeah, the good old days, oh, when cartoons was good. It's not like that. It's like, hey, this is cool, you just haven't seen it in a while, you know what I mean? So the gameplay, basically shoot 'em up action. Think of Contra, for Super Nintendo, Contra 3, the Alien Wars. I think the European version, the PAL version, was Probotector 3. I think. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, uh, great, awesome graphics plus awesome gameplay. And that was the worry, because everybody's like, oh, it looks great. It looks great, but we've had plenty of titles that looked awesome, but gameplay just wasn't there. I have to say, this has it. This delivers. It is difficult, but it's not difficult in the way that I find most people are complaining. Like, it's just too hard, period. Like, it's just a brutal grind fest of never-ending punishment. It's not like that. It's like, if you it's I mean, you get some defeats because, I would say it's because the two main factors are ignorance. You never, like right here, I'm fighting these two for the very first time. I don't know what they're gonna do. So, I mean, it's hard. It's difficult to react to something that you don't know what it is in the first place. So, lack of experience is the first hurdle. The second hurdle is your own mistakes, mistiming jumps, mistiming, shooting your superpower, not aiming at the boss when you should be, because you're trying to kill something else, or you're panicking, or, something like that. It's a mix of those two. But it's not like overwhelmingly hard. Like, oh, you try it and you can say, well, I can't beat these, first boss or these first two bosses, so I can never beat this game. It's like, if you stick with it and just try to pay attention and do, like, change what you did wrong the last time. Like, if you let the bouncing orbs hit you, try to avoid that. Learn the mechanics of the boss's moves. Like that tornado, at first I didn't know if it would lift me. I was afraid it would lift me up, because the way the animation looks, it looks like a tornado and just pulls you upwards. So I was afraid he would, like, pull me into the fan. So, you're trying to stay back, but that pushes you into his partner. So it's things like that. You get killed because your perceptions are wrong or off, because it's the first time you've seen an attack or a special ability. Misjudging jumps and distance and timing, things like that lead to a lot of deaths. But it's very rewarding when you finally win. It's like, yes. And it's not like oh, I've been playing this game for 16 hours, I'm so sick of it, the instant I beat this boss, I'm gonna turn it off and take this game and throw it in the trash. Like, it's not like that kind of relief. Like, relief that you finally got something grueling over with. It's the relief, like, hey, these dudes were tough. They handed me a couple of losses, but once I learned how to do this and I learned how to do that, I kicked their butts. And it's like a satisfaction of achievement, of accomplishment. And I think that's what really makes the game worthwhile. Not just the graphics, which are amazing, and not just the graphics. That's the key thing that everybody says. The soundtrack is amazing. The sound effects for the enemies' moves, they're perfectly cartoony. The tracks that play in the background go with the scenery, goes with the feel of what you're doing. It's not just like a boss fight, theme that matches, this particular, like, every boss. Like, each place has its own theme. So it's like this isn't just boss music A, boss music B. You know, if you hear this song, you know, it's a mini boss. If you hear that song, it's a big boss. It's like, no, this track is for this stage, this area, specifically. You know, at least at this point, you know, this is still very early in the game. Maybe they do reuse some soundtracks. I don't know, but if they do, hell, they deserve it. I mean, it take them like it's almost 50 years. It take them 50 years. But it took them years to get this animated and done. You know, it's a humongous project. So anyway, and if they do use, they're reusing gold tracks. So anyway. Soundtrack is awesome. It's just as noteworthy as the visuals. Gameplay is spot on. Controls are spot on. I find a little bit of awkwardness. I don't know. I'm starting to regret my 360 controller from my PlayStation. I'm thinking maybe I should have used a PlayStation. Tried a PlayStation 4 controller. I'm not sure. But with this and Spelunky, there's a couple of issues. With this, the triggers get in the way because you don't want your hand stuck on the trigger position because you want them to, you know, I don't know, it'll take me a while to get used to it. And when I play Spelunky, the D-pad is a circular disc, so sometimes I'll climb when I don't want to climb, or I'll hold on when I don't want to hold on, you know, things of that nature, blah 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 blah. But anyway, spectacular action. These two particular bosses, he's a prime example. This boss here, when he turns into the slot machine, like you don't know what he's gonna do, and then not only does he do a specific move, he has three different versions of the same move, So it's like you just don't see this stuff coming. Period. And if you base, a lot of people, they just think they're probably really really good at video games. And so they expect to ace through this level to see, okay, talk to this NPC, go here, shoot this guy. Most of the time you can cut through a lot of games because of your skill level. Well, this game is like you could be very skillful, but you're not going to just cut through just because there's just stuff going to happen to you. Unless, you watch someone's video or whatever, and you know what's going to come and you prepared for it or something like that. Unless you have advanced notice, stuff's gonna happen, and you're like, well, what the heck was that? It's gonna kill you. And that's not, to me, that's not a bad thing. You should know what's the point. You should know everything that's about to happen in a video game. You should be surprised. You should be stumped. You should have to scratch your noodle or go back a little bit. Obviously, no one wants, just continuous lessons in frustration. But a little bit of pushback from the resistance from the game, I think, is well worth it, and it makes it just not a visual treat. It makes it like these animated, like right here, these animated orbs. It's like they're like death machines. They're orbs of spiky. They're wheels of spiky death shooting shiny orbs of death. But they look great. It's fantastic. But you feel the tension, like, oh wow, I have to dodge this amazing-looking animated disc of death with the shiny orb coming at, bouncing up and down. Like you have to dodge this stuff, And I like the fact that your attention is kind of divided on like looking at the bosses and admiring their moves and their attacks, looking at the animations, especially like when that frog rolls up. It's way better to look at the, it's just when you take the time, like you get used to their attacks a little bit, you can see, you have more time to like observe other things because like I'm in at least for this second or so, I'm in a safe spot, so your eye can go to other places. Like, wow, look how this frog looks when he rolls up and does his attack. Look how this one looks. Look at this boss. Look at this. Look in the background at the little baby, like the baby bug dancing, and there's women on stage dancing, there's people going by. I mean, it's amazing. It's an incredible game. It's very awesome. Gameplay is amazing. So anyway, fighting these bosses and going through the levels, it can be very tense. It's just a tense experience. It's heart pounding, but in a good way. You're excited because you're also testing your skill. Because some things you can kind of, you destroy it like the first time you meet it, so you're like, yeah. And there's other things where it's like, oh my gosh, it's so difficult. But anyway, it's an amazing game. Well, I'm not gonna bore you with commentary throughout the whole video. It takes me a little bit to learn this boss's pattern because first you're really learning two bosses patterns in a way because you have the when they're tag team, they have their pattern. That's one set of boss, and then the slot machine is a whole different story. So basically, you're fighting two bosses in the form of three bosses. You have the two frogs and the one slot machine, and it's a lot to. It can be overwhelming if you pride yourself on instant victory, stuff like that. But if you realize the odds that you're going up against, you can see, well, wait a minute, this no wonder I got killed. I mean, who expects two frogs to turn into a slot machine and spit out, spinning wheels and stuff at you? I mean, it's insane stuff. So anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Enjoy your friends and family. I appreciate you watching, and have a great day.
Good day for a swell battle. You're up. A great slam